What's up, my beautiful people? We are back live again for Survivors Conversation. And today we have Miss Elaine Divine. I'm gonna wait till she gets on here, but we're gonna continue this conversation about the fear of the unknown. So what's up? What's up, Calvin? What's up, brother? We waiting for Elaine to get up in here. Elaine, as soon as you pop in, I need you to hit request, and I'm gonna bring. There you go, hit request. I'm gonna bring you in here so we can get this conversation going, darling. There we go. 1 second. What's up, bro? It's pulling her in. Hey, my darling. How are you?
Fine, Tracy.
I'm great. I'm great. Good to see you.
You too. I'm just so tickled about this.
Okay, well, be tickled because listen, we gonna get this conversation going. I mean, this is a huge topic for everybody. So that's why I said I figured we was gonna do this about 10 to 15 times. So I'm with it because we all go through these, the fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
And just like yesterday, I'm gonna throw out a few topics for you. So in the fear of the unknown, things that show up as survivors. So we have anxiety, we have overthinking, we have avoidance, we have comparison, and we have grief of the version of our old self that we lost.
Right. So
So
right,
does any of those stand out for you, or they all stand out for you?
they all stand out to me
All
because
right, Miss Dot. Okay.
I've experienced all of those.
All right. So we're gonna start where you want to start. Let's talk about it.
What was the first topic you
The
said about?
first one was anxiety, and
And
then yes, let's go with anxiety.
I have really experienced that because sometimes my mind be flowing real fast and the words just don't come as fast. But sometimes when there's certain things I want to do and I realize I just can't do them, and then I have to sit back and just take a deep breath. That seems to always help, and
Uh,
I try to dwell on it.
That's excellent. So y'all hear that? She says when her mind gets overwhelmed, she
Yeah,
has to sit back, take a deep breath, and not dwell on what is trying to overtake her thoughts.
right.
That's excellent. That's excellent. So can any of us relate to that? Trying to when those anxious moments come up, and like she said, get ready to go somewhere and do something. And speaking from a stroke survivor, that anxiety could come as you say, "Hey." So it's one of those things. To give a great example that a lot of us experience is in your home, you're a lot more comfortable. When you get out in home, you're like your arms are straight, your legs moving, everything's working, everything's fine. The moment you get out in public, you're like, "Oh my gosh." My
Right.
arm just locked up. Now I got a limp. Now that's going on. And you're like, how did that happen? Because when I'm at home,
Um,
I can walk and do
yeah, because in the house, I don't even use my cane in the house. But it's when I go out, I have that just for my comfort and safety.
But you know what that is? That happens is it's a response that happens to our body and our brain. It's a fight or flight response.
Right, right,
And that fight or flight response basically is our brain saying, hey, I don't know what you're going to do. These people are looking at me. Everybody's standing way over here. So instead of me staying relaxed, I'm going to tense up because I feel these people are judging me. They're looking at me. They can see my disability. They wonder why I'm limping. They wonder why my arm's stuck like this. So when we have all that going on, understanding that the stroke disconnected our affected side.
yeah,
So when you get out in public, it's not sending the signals of comfort to the
right.
brain. It's sending the signals of, hey, I'm afraid. So afraid, our body tenses up, the arm locks up, your legs get stiff, your foot drop, everything kicks in. And that's what's going on, guys. That's what's going on in our brain when we get out in public.
You're so right about that. I agree with you 100%. Because when you was talking yesterday and you talked about going out in the cold, my body just tenses up when I get in the cold. So I told one of my friends, I said, me and Cole don't get along because my
Uh-huh.
body cannot relax out in the cold. It just tenses right up.
Yeah, that's a whole nother issue. So we got anxiety from the real life to go out anywhere, and then we got this cold baby. I think that's surpassing anxiety because it just literally takes over my mind. It takes over everything because my body Like it literally in the cold, and a lot of times I would go places and I wouldn't even notice. So my family member, somebody be like, why your hand fisted up, or why your arm like this? And I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize it. But the reaction was my body responded to what it was going through. My body responded to the trauma. And the
Right.
trauma is the cold and the pain that is happening due to the cold. So that's, listen, I have a limit on when I can go outside in Cleveland, Ohio, y'all. It's very if I go outside once, likely, honestly, y'all, I don't. It's not that I want to. Likely, if I go outside once, I probably am not about to go back outside anymore, like for the day, because
Right
now
about,
my body is locked up, and I gotta figure out how I can get it calmed down in the house.
and see, one thing, because I'm a research type person, I'll be researching everything, and then I there's this lady that talked about your breath work, and I've been trying that lately, and that seems to help, especially when I get irritated, like when my speech doesn't, because I'm a talker, and my speech doesn't flow like I like for it to flow, because I took speed reading, and so I and I didn't have no problem talking fast at all. But now that this has happened, I have to really just take my time and just think about what I'm going to say before I say it. And sometimes I just don't like that. I just want to be able to flow. Like you talk about grieving your old self.
Yes, ma'am. And that you're experiencing is still from the aphasia. So the aphasia, understanding that aphasia comes in so many different shapes and forms.
Yeah.
Aphasia, some people have not gotten their speech. Some people, like one of the guys Miss Elaine, you missed it. One of the guys that is now joining our weekly
Zoom.
Zooms, he actually once after the stroke affected him, he couldn't read English anymore. He could only speak like it was something like a foreign language.
Oh,
So he lost the ability to read English. But
yeah.
like he was saying, it was understandable because at the time he was learning another language because he was back and forth in Thailand. So, but he's American. But after the stroke, he could not read English. He said everything looked foreign to him. It was a foreign language. And so that's one of those things. So aphasia with that. Then I have another lady that she don't speak. I'm gonna say don't speak like us. She sound like she from the West Indies and speaking a whole nother language. So it's so many different forms of that. Then the other biggest that so many of us deal with is we can see the thought. The thought is right there in our head and we can't grab it. It's like literally I have this word. You just want to reach up and grab it. That's the word I'm trying to say. But you go to speak and then you lose your train of thought. You lose, and it's like, what is the word that I'm saying? So that right there is dealing with a lot of that. And then there's me that part of my aphasia is, and I've gotten a lot better, is speaking way, way, way too fast. And y'all know I can be one of those what's that thing? The one that just speed talk. I could be that person all day long because I can talk like that. But I've learned and I'm learning to slow down. So it's just at the same time how you said with that breath taking is I'm learning to slow down by breathing through it to slow my breath down to actually breathe through each word, through each sentence, slow down. So that right there, in a sense, is what you're saying is that breath work has been working for you to calm your body down.
Sure has. And I'm so thankful for that because, like I was saying, now on Tuesdays and Thursdays I go to physical therapy, and the guy just really works. It, it's just so overwhelming. But I really I'm so excited. I know this is not nothing big, but I can step over in the tub now and take a shower.
Listen, listen, listen. I don't know what you talk about. That is huge. What you mean this ain't nothing big? That's huge. You better give yourself a hand clap. That's amazing.
I'm so happy about that. You have
Yes.
that. I'm so like that was, and I got to work on keeping my eyes open because what I do is close so I can focus on what I'm saying. And what now it was at a time it was at a point where it was like use my shower transfer bench, and that for me that was just too much trouble. When it'd be just easier for me to just step over in the shower, and I have a little bench I sit on, and I'm so thankful I can sit on that little bench now. I can shower whenever I feel like it.
Yes, we thank God for that. Listen, you got to be thankful. That's amazing.
Yeah,
That is amazing. I'm gonna see Keith where Keith was asking how can we fight against, so we've been talking about that. How can we fight against our body reacting to the cold weather? Honestly, And my experience is you got to get in the house. You got to warm your body up because to fight it, like the times that I am outside and that happens to me, I have to go. It's really, I guess, in a sense, is when you think about it, it is breath work that I have to calm my brain down, calm my body down to say, hey, I am eventually going to get back in the warm weather, but at the moment that I am out there stuck in it, I have to be able to breathe through it in order for me to not lock up and be stuck in one position. So I guess it does take breath work for that in order for me to get to be able to take the next step to get back in the house, get back in the car. So there's levels to it as how do we get past it in a sense of as stroke survivors in my experience, cold is just not a friend in my body. Some people like the cold, but honestly, I don't really have a clear answer for that. It's just a part, I believe it's a part of the nature that we're living now as stroke survivors that some of our bodies respond to cold. Just like it's, if you think about it, the average person, a lot of people love the cold. They can't stand the heat. Me, and it's weird because I actually never did like the cold, but now it's even worse because my body is having different ailments with the cold weather. So I've always liked heat. So I think in that sense, it could be just a personal thing for a person that say they probably enjoy being outside in the cold. Their body may work better in the cold. Mine, it does not.
Back about maybe like before the stroke, I never did really even own a coat for the simple fact I love the cold weather. Now it's like get me inside, and I have on like three or four shirts with a coat with a jacket and zip up, just so I can try to stay warm. And I don't want my ears cold, so I always put my earmuffs on.
Oh, that's so yeah, that's another one, Marquise. So with those things, oh, that just reminded me. I guess I'll tell y'all one of the secrets that I do. I was telling somebody the other day. So how to combat the cold. And I'm gonna say, so Jason was saying after his stroke, it didn't affect his Mississippi dialect. Oh, I don't know. I didn't quite hear the Mississippi slang when we were on live the other day, Jason. But okay, so what I was saying is, so thinking about the cold. So because I totally can't do anything in the cold, but at nighttime for me to go to sleep, it has to be cold. Like I can't sleep hot. Like you're just gonna, it's not one of those things I could do. So, but as a stroke survivor, somebody was saying, well, because you can't sleep hot, how do you get into bed if your room is cold? So it's gonna sound crazy when I say it, but it's real life. So my affected side, which is my left side, my room is freezing cold when it's time for me to go to bed. How I can maintain and get through that to sleep through that is my left side. I have a glove on my left hand and I have a sock on my left foot.
I have to put a sock on my left foot. I understand what you're talking about.
But listen, now this right side, baby, I don't want nothing on this right side. Don't give me no sock. Listen, don't give me no clothes on this side because I'm feeling like I'm suffocating. So that's one of my tricks that I do. So it's one of those things because I still don't have full feeling on this left side and the circulation is none basically. So I have to keep this side extra protected.
Yeah.
So how I get past that is this is covered, this foot is covered, and guess what? I can sleep comfortably in the bed. And I've had times that being lazy, I didn't feel like getting up to get it. And the whole time I'm trying to sleep, I'm in pain because my left side is in pain because it's stiffed up because it's freezing cold because my room is cold.
Right.
So that's another trick that I do for that. So y'all might want to try that. That's definitely, I was talking to one of my females, especially the ones that may be in perimenopause or anything like that you need to have a cold and you're a stroke survivor and you're like, I can't sleep hot, but I can't be freezing, baby.
Right.
That affected side, put a glove and a sock on that affected side and then let the other side breathe and you're going to be all right. I promise you.
You're so right about that, Tracy, because I'm kind of almost on the other side of menopause. And during that time, man, you would get, I don't know if many people experience this. You get the hot flash, it starts here and then goes down. And then right after it's done, somebody once told me just stay calm and it'll pass. And that was so true because when I would get frustrated, it would just linger. So what I do is just try to breathe calmly through it and let it pass because one of my friends, she said, oh, you got a little piece of sweat on your forehead. She said, I just want to dab it. I said, nope, you ain't touching. I just not acknowledging. And it went right away.
Oh, that's good. So let's here we go again. Mr. Lane telling us we need to work on that breath work so we can get through a lot of these things. That's what you're telling us. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Let's see. One of our next topics is avoidance and comparison.
But there's not much I try to avoid because when I'm here in the house, I try to do as much as I can because my stepdaughter, she would come, she used to come every to help me out, and I would tell her, I said, I just don't want to rely on you coming because there's going to be a day when you're not going to be here, and I'm going to try to get this done. So I just try to do whatever I can do. That's just what I do. I just do the best I can.
That's awesome. That is awesome, and that's great for it because you're just trying to make sure you are being what's the look? I just lost the word that I'm trying to. You're trying to move. I'm gonna give you another word. You're trying to move as much as you can to not be understanding that you are dependent to an extent, but
Yeah.
you don't want to be fully dependent on somebody else. So you're trying to make sure you're doing it for the best of your ability. That if somebody else isn't there, you can still do it.
Right. That's like
And there's go ahead.
that's like the other day when I went to see my neurologist just to make sure everything was still okay from the stroke that I had. And the doctor was so kind. He said he was gonna have me put my socks and shoes on. And I said I can get it. I'm not gonna be around all the time.
That's true. That's excellent. That is great. The other side of avoidance there is when it could be in a sense of us not wanting to acknowledge that this happened to it, not wanting to acknowledge that we are stroke survivors, not wanting to acknowledge the fact that yes, our life has changed, not wanting to acknowledge the fact that we really don't know what tomorrow looks like. We don't know what the next 5 minutes or 10 minutes look like. But that avoidance is listen, not. I mean, it could be in a sense of avoidance, understanding that you may be avoiding the fact that you are dependent now. You may be avoiding the fact of, listen, like our life has changed. So it's so many ways that we can look at that. And
Right.
how we get through that is, and I would say the best way when I think about it, I always tell people like somebody was just asking me on another platform, like, how you always keep doing it? Do you not miss that? Do you not? It's not to say that I don't miss it. But if you get stuck in those moments, you will continue to paralyze yourself to not to be able to progress. So I want to make sure I'm always constantly progressing. It's the same with Missy Lane saying, I don't want everybody always to have to help me so I can progress. I don't want to get stuck in the old or stuck in what I lost and stuck in a what woulda, coulda, shoulda, because that will paralyze me to not be able to move on or not be able to find the joy in where I am now and what I got going on now.
Right.
So that's what we want to make sure we always find a way to say, hey, today, what can make me smile right now? And I can think of things that can make me smile right now. So because I'm smiling doesn't mean that my hands still don't work, that my foot
Right.
drops, that my hips still hurt, that the pain is still coming because it's cold as heck outside. But I'm
Right.
choosing to smile, y'all.
Right. Right. And you know what? I've been looking into being more in a gratitude state, just because like I told you, I'm my husband's care partner. He does
Yeah.
home, and we had such a rough time one day last week, and it was just really overwhelming for me. And I was supposed to went to therapy. I called him that day before and told him I need a mental health because it was just a bit overwhelming.
And see, but that's good. We have those days. We have those days that it's going to be overwhelming. But that right there is acknowledging, like, you know what, this may be too much. I may need to take a step back. I may need to cancel my day because it's not going to happen.
Right.
But and the thing is, because if you don't look at that, if you don't pay attention to that, or if you don't accept that, that can put you in more harm.
Right. Right.
I appreciate that. Let's see what this my screen moved. The topic of the fear of the no. It's the topic of grieving our old self. My computer
You
just
know, I thought about that this morning about grieving myself, and I was saying, well, really, I feel like me on the inside not went anywhere because the me that I am is still here, but I just can't function like I want to function. So see, like a Aretha, a- Aletha was saying last night
Athena, yes, ma'am.
about her doing the hair. See, my thing was sewing and arts and I remember probably like a couple of months after I had got home, after I after the stroke had happened, and I wanted to get back to sewing real quick, and I tried to sew. You think I was on a Ferris wheel because my sewing all up and down, and it was so discouraging. And then lately, I've been feeling like I ready to put my machine back out and sew because I was making everything. I made dresses, wedding dresses, bridesmaid dresses, curtain blankets. I made everything, and I sure miss that. That's one thing I really miss, being able to sew and do arts and crafts.
Hold on, Miss Elaine. I got to bother you because I know you too. Because excuse me, ma'am, I seen your hands and your legs move. So what you mean? You haven't tried, or are you planning to try? What you got going on? What's about to happen?
Uh, I'm going to make the last thing I made me was like a house dress, and I know I have another pattern. I want to make another dress.
Okay. So I need you to set yourself a goal. And Mr. Hughes, you hear me back there? She's setting herself a goal that she's gonna make a house dress because we don't want her to miss doing the things that she loves to do. When guess what? And it's one of those things that understand that is your dress. So
Right.
if you got an extra seam or a crooked seam on here, it's okay because the more you do it, the better you'll get. And that's
Right.
where it comes from learning. And I was just listening to Pastor Mike and PMJ, and he was saying the difference between the difference of the definition of persistent and consistent. So he said persistent, so consistent is doing the same thing every day, but persistence is
Never.
consistently doing something even in the midst of adversity. So
Right.
yes, let's get you to the point where you could be persistent, Miss Elaine, to hey, sewing was my thing. I used to do it all the time. Yes, I had a stroke. It affected my side and my hand, I may not be able to get those seams the same way I can, but and my foot may not hit the pedal when you're doing it. So I know the old school sewing machine used to do that. But guess what? I'm gonna work on doing something for myself, doing my little gown. So if it's a little cricket, it's still okay because now you take yourself to the next level and you put yourself in a position that, and the more you do it and become persistent, then you'll be like, hey, my seams ain't cricket no more. I got them straight now. So that's amazing, Missy Lane.
Right, because I remember when I first started sewing, I didn't care what the inside looked like. It was just, I know it was sewed together. And I remember this girl, I was telling her that I had sewed because I used my imagination to make all kind of stuff.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
said, and she said, "Let me see the inside." I wouldn't show her the inside of my clothes. She said, "Well, you want the inside to be just as nice as the outside," and that's one thing that I want to make sure I have in control. That the inside looks just as good as the outside.
Okay, listen, I might go ahead and put me in the order for something. I got to think of. I may just since you're doing a house dress, I might just go ahead and send you my measurements and go ahead and send you my money. I think I want a house dress. Give me a house dress. So that's listen. Missy Lane might be taking them orders for us, y'all. I'm gonna be first after she make hers. I'm gonna get this house dress and I'm gonna make sure I come on here and show y'all that this house dress looking like.
Hey, I sure would do that because
I'm serious. I don't know why you think I'm playing. I'm serious.
I believe you, Tracy. I used to sew for people. This girl, she was a good friend of mine, and she had very big hips, but a very slim waist, but she was kind of big chested, and so I would, cause her dresses would hike up in the back about 3 to 6 inches, and I told her I can fix that for you. So what I did was just made her dress 3 to 6 inches long in the back, and when she put it on, it was the same length all the way around.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh yeah, you putting your little specialty on everybody's stuff. That's good. I ain't got no hips. You know, I ain't got no hips, nothing like that. I'll make sure I take my measurements. You ain't gonna need that for mine. So how else? In this process of your healing. Let's talk about when did the stroke affect you?
It the stroke happened in September the 20th of 2020, but then it was an evolving stroke, so it didn't all happen at one time. It happened over a period of time. That's when I first heard about it. I've never heard of an evolving stroke, and so when I looked it up, it was a real thing. And what it was when I was in the hospital doing the rehab in the hospital, my PT lady had went on vacation for And then when she came back, she said, "What happened with Miss Hughes?" She said she was progressing so well. She said that looked like she regressed, and that's when the director told her I was having an evolving, and it didn't happen all at one time.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to do some more research on that.
because when I was in the hospital, right after during COVID, right after my stroke, I was still up walking around normally. I didn't have no signs of a stroke, but up until April of 2024, when I fell, is when I went back to have my cane.
Wow, thank God you're here with us today. So over a couple years.
Yeah, and
My
so
God.
you talk about grieving. Now I missed that person that I was up until 2024. That because even though I knew I had the stroke, but I missed the person that I was, because you can even tell there was nothing wrong with my child or none of that. When you look at me, you saw me, but it wasn't until after I first fell and my three falls I had in 2024 till I think it's like I talked to my physical therapy guy. He said he think it's just lack of confidence.
Okay. So lack of confidence within yourself.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, Miss Elaine, I can see that because like I said, I told you, I know you, and I know you can do some things, but you would definitely talk yourself out of it.
right.
So how would you say your progress has been thus far, like now, with like knowing that that could be something that's crippling you is your confidence?
Right. I try to tell myself, girl, you know you can do this. You can do this. That's how I be sitting telling myself, you can do this, because uh a couple of weeks ago I was like, I can't wait till it get warm outside. We can go back and walk in the park. Then first thing I thought, what you mean walk in the park? I have to walk with a cane.
Listen, but that's what I'm saying. That's because you're telling yourself already. You don't walk with a cane in the house. You technically, I mean, I understand you would take it for outside because there's different levels and things like
Right,
that. You might have to walk, cross over things. So to have it, but I want you to think about this. I'll have it with me if I need it, but I don't want you to use that as a clutch as, hey, I need my cane to walk. No, you're going to walk with that cane tucked up into your arm because you don't need it. If you
right,
get to a place that there's gravel and then the different change in the ground, that might be a time that you use the cane, but you got to that right there, you got to retrain your mind and your thought
right,
process of telling yourself that I can't go without get that cane.
right. That when my daughter got married in 2023, and she had her bachelorette party in Vegas, and that had been my dream to go to Vegas. And what had happened was the girl I was in the room with was my cousin. I kept my cane sitting by the door because in the hotel room I didn't use it at all. And when we got ready to walk out the door, she looked down. She said, "Miss Elaine, where your cane?" I said, "Girl, I forgot all about it."
See, that's what I'm saying. I need you to forget about it. So listen, that's another one you just said for yourself. So when you get in that thought, you need to put your mind frame back and say you in Vegas, baby. Because what happened in Vegas stays in Vegas. Well, put yourself back in that mind frame and say, I'm in Vegas. So Mr. Hughes, she said when she walk out the house, she gonna have the mindset of saying she in Vegas and she don't need that cane. You can leave that cane in the car, but if you go in the grocery store or anything else, baby, you don't need that cane.
Right.
Yes, that's what we're gonna say. So let's see. We have Michael says, "Me too." He walks with the cane outside the house because he's wobbly. So, but that's another thing, Michael. I'm gonna challenge you as well as start putting yourself in a position of mind frame to not think, "Hey, I'm carrying this cane with me because I'm gonna need it." No, carry the cane tucked in your side.
Right.
Understanding that we can't control what outside looks like. If it's a big crowd or something, you might need that cane.
Yeah.
So yeah, that right there will help us. So it's always that we still want to make sure we're safe. Safety is first always. We want to push and challenge ourselves, but we still have to be safe. So as long as we're being smart with how we make progressive moves and things like that. That'll help us through it.
Yeah.
I have to say, Jason said, Miss Elaine, he telling you you're gonna have to make me a wedding dress. So Jason was on, he was on one of the calls with me earlier. We were on the live with a prophetic, Prophetess Jolene Whitaker. We were on a live right there. She was praying and prophesying, baby. I said I receive it all. Listen, she was saying 2026, buying a house, getting married, all of the things. I said that's me. So Jason was on there. That's what he said. You're gonna have to make Tracy a wedding dress. Listen, that's right in the name of Jesus, because we claiming it. That's right, Jason. That's what I'm saying. So yeah,
But
that's why he had said that.
I tell you what, Tracy, I'm just so thankful that I found you, that you crossed my path. You give me such inspiration to the point when you dancing. I said, oh man, Tracy dancing. I said, I need to try to dance.
Yeah, go ahead and try it, Missy Lane. I bet you'll be able to. You know what? That's what our next space sound. We're gonna get on there and dance. I'm gonna tell Missy Hughes go ahead and play some music. We're gonna play some reggae or something going from his island. We gonna play some music, and you got to start dancing.
Yeah. But I saw you dancing. I said, I can dance.
Okay, that's what's up. See, that's what I'm talking about, Missy Lane. You listen, y'all heard it here. Missy Lane gonna dance. She gonna make me that house coat. Jason said she gonna make me that wedding dress. That's what I'm talking about, Missy Lane. Yes.
I sure will, Tracy. Because I tell you, you're very inspirational.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you for joining us today, Missy Lane.
I appreciate it, Tracy. I was so honored you asked me. I was like, oh wow, Tracy.
Yes, ma'am.
I was very
listen, and I got Thina coming back on here next week, because I said I was gonna be nice and sure what the next topics is, because I wanted her to pick a topic, but I think I am, because Athena does not like to be. She is very private, so I'm gonna show her what the next topics are to let her pick which one that we're gonna hit next week. So we might bring you back on here next week if you want to. I'll share the topics with y'all once she picks the one that's next week, and we can get these conversations rolling.
That'll be fine, Tracy, because I don't mind sharing. I don't mind sharing. I'm my life is an open book. I don't have anything to hide.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Hughes, somewhere in the background. All right. I'll talk to y'all later.
Okay, Tracy.
All righty.
Okay.